Someone tell Johnny it's impolite to point.
He did. He just pointed. But it is YaJagOff Late Night, episode number 6.
Yeah.
6.
Oh,
boom!
Yeah.
Look at us,
yes. Someday, listen, you know that you could come to these recordings.
Yes.
We do it at 5:30-ish every Friday night here at 5000 McKnight Road. And there's usually some alcohol. There's
Always.
usually some non-alcoholic beverages. There's snacks. Sometimes we have a pizza or whatever. And maybe it's a covered dish thing. You bring whatever you want to eat.
There you go. Potluck at the JAG event.
Yeah.
We will take it. So thanks for listening again. We've really enjoyed your feedback. We love that you're enjoying this because we want to keep bringing you more and more Pittsburgh stories. Tonight is absolutely amazing. A little bit of repeats here for people who we've talked to before, but never been on the late night show.
Right.
So we would be remiss if we weren't talking to the one, the only Lee Terbosic. He is royalty when it comes to not only Pittsburgh, but magic.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Liberty Magic is even here now and that we have like this amazing resident magician, he's so much more than a magician though.
Yeah. The cool thing is that 7 years ago, it makes me feel old.
I was just going to say,
7 years ago, he recreated the Harry Houdini hanging over an intersection in downtown Pittsburgh, which was super cool. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. And I get the feeling that when we go to our junk drawer thing, he's going to have a different way to give it to us, other than Greg Brown spraying silly string all over us.
Was that like your challenge to him?
Yes.
Like you're hoping he hears you in the next room so that it's fun.
Hopefully
like,
he's
don't be anticlimactic.
munching on his chips and M&Ms in the green room too much. And then we have a double guest.
I was going to say, but no stranger also is Lisa Cunningham. You know her from the City Paper. She has also been on the radio with us before because she is now the communications director at the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council. So really excited to welcome her back. And she has brought another guest because she really wants to amplify the arts and really point out all of the resources and the great things that we have in the art scene. So Soren will also be joining us.
Soren the intern.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
I was like, wait, what is
right.
STI?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
So, and then of course, then we have music. And this time, it seems like we're going to have time to play our Kenny Pickett
You're so
game.
happy.
I'm so excited
Yeah.
we're going to play Kenny Pickett. And I have to say thank you to Scoops in Bellevue for our 2 kinds of ice cream. So look forward to that at the end of the show. But also reminding you, if you're watching, listening, whatever you're doing, make sure if you're listening to the podcast, watching the YouTube, we would appreciate if you share it. But at least comment, say something with you if you don't mind. But also just make sure you subscribe to whatever it is, YouTube, or you can't subscribe to the radio or subscribe to the podcast.
Go back to the Pickett.
Yeah.
Why do we have Pickett? Who did we call on?
Yeah.
Jared
Wicker, right?
Wickham.
Yeah, Jared, thanks. Anyways, Wick Photo is the website. He did some really cool photographs for us.
Yeah, I just thought it was really cool that we supported local in the sense that he is a local artist. He does so many great photography things. Boy, can you say photographer? Anyway, he is no longer living in Pittsburgh, right? Because he's doing so many cool things. Yeah. All right, here's what's happening in Pittsburgh, though. First of all, did you check out the blogs this week? You did a stellar job.
We did a little blog about do you know how to drive? It was the driver's test. So there's an intersection over in the Bellevue area where people get it wrong 100% of the time. As a matter of fact, the people that commented on Facebook, most of them had it wrong.
Is it near my street?
Yes, it is.
Is it when you come out of my street?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Because you have this obsession with signaling.
People do not understand that when you're continuing on the same road, you do not have to signal. If it looks like you're going straight, but you're going onto a different road, guess what? You have to signal. Huh. Anyways, most of the people on Facebook got it wrong. Go check it off on YaJagOff blog. Yeah.
And then also, the person who was hit in a wheelchair, you and Monica were talking all about this.
It's crazy that someone hit a person in a wheelchair in the middle of an intersection.
Who does that?
Story was they ran a red light. They stopped and then left. Didn't even get out of their car to see if the person was okay.
Is the person okay?
Person is okay. As a matter of fact, the wheelchair is bent and has to be needs a new wheelchair. But yeah, who does that? YaJagOffs.
Yeah, there you go. That's
what
the epitome.
Else is
if we were to award the ultimate, I feel like it would go there.
Of
course, we're not done with 2023 just yet. And then there's our jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Not your
Did you
average
like that?
holiday parade.
I guess John didn't
YaJagOff.
like mine.
No, I was using it as a music
Okay,
bed.
sorry.
Yeah. And anyways, it's December 2nd at the block at Northway. Appreciate that you come out. Remember, we have the real Santa there for that. And so many cool things for you to come and see and watch. You get to sit around and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to set up your chair. You don't have to set up your blanket. You just show up because we do all the moving. And if you want to stay home, in your undies and eat your
Every
cereal,
time.
you can watch it on YouTube, Facebook. And thank you to Trib Live for being our presenting sponsor.
Has it become a drinking game that when John says sit at home in your undies to watch?
It could
I
be.
feel like that
You
could be.
could get pretty
But
drunk.
here's the coolest part. Jamie from the block at Northway actually called us this week and said, guys, people are bringing chairs. We were like, do it.
Yeah.
Bring your chairs. So like you said, you don't have to bring chairs and like designate an area, but how cool would it be if they like get comfy and they're watching us loop? So if you don't know what we're talking about, we literally lap. Now I said figure 8, you were like, Rach, it is not even close to a figure
an
8.
oval.
It's an oval.
It's the top or the
It's
bottom
not
half
even
of
a
an
figure
eight.
8. Yeah. So we literally lap 4 times to 4 different stations. So follow me. We go to the Mancini's station. There will be a Mancini's display with some guests. Then we'll go to...
And then we'll go to Screen Mobile.
Are we making this up as we go?
Sure.
Okay. Screen Mobile will be the stop number 2. There will be other performers.
Yeah.
Don't ask us because we don't have the sheet in front. We don't have the graph telling us who's there.
Then after that, we stop at the Berg bus stop,
Boom.
which will have some comedians with some, comedy geared towards Christmas and family.
Yeah. And then the 4th one will be ba-da-ba-ba-ba, John's favorite place.
Mickey D's of Three Rivers. Yeah, guarantee they better bring some fries.
Yeah, don't guarantee,
Holiday
but
fries.
I made up today. I said, John, did they say they were bringing French fries? And he's like, don't remember reading that.
Don't show up without
so
them.
we're going to email and say perhaps a hash brown question mark
Yeah.
or 300. I mean,
Right.
just asking for a friend. So we'll see what happens. But thank you so much to those 4 station stops. We're excited. While we are going from stop to stop and talking to the different performers, musicians, all these different people, iconic Pittsburghers, as we say, telling Pittsburgh stories, there will be 2 of our favorite graffiti mural artists, Shane Pilster and Max Gonzalez, and they will be recreating the ultimate Yinzer scene. So what happens then, once they're finished with it, they take it inside the block, and Santa's there, and you get a picture, all for a donation for 412 Thrive. Boom!
How about that?
We've added on this year, and it's pretty cool, and we want to see you there.
So December 2nd, the block Northway. You can check it out on Q929 page. You can check it out on YaJagOff.com or go read it in the patch. Thank you, Eric Kyle.
Exactly. Monica, Erica J, On Air Kristen, they're all going to be there helping out and talking to all the folks so that when we pull up a couple seconds late, because yes, that's what we do, they will be there getting all of the interviews. We're so glad that you're here. We have a great show tonight. Stay with us for YaJagOff Late Night.
If my younger self could see me doing these things now, I wouldn't believe it. To be a steam fitter, you need to be a problem solver. You can do instrumentation, hydronics, chillers, rigging, HVAC. I have this wonderful opportunity to grow my career.
It's not what you are that makes you a steam fitter. It's who you are. Over 100 years, and we're just getting started.
Rach, I have to vent. Here's my dryer vent. This one time, I had found a Lee press-on nail in my dryer stuff, and it was not mine.
Vom in the throat.
Ugh.
One time, my kids left Kleenexes from one of their worst whooping coughs in their pocket.
Guys, you guys are such jagoffs. That's not the type of dryer venting we're talking about. We professionally clean your dryer vent to increase your dry time and save you guys some money.
For
Soaking
4
wet,
hours.
like 10 pounds
You
wet.
jagoffs, you need to get your dryer vents cleaned.
Welcome to Cunningham. I take your orders.
You need a tap it?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich to cook. Here we go.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from People's Gas.
Please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
It's John and Rachel, YaJagOff Late Night, and so excited because Lee Terbosic is here. We've done so many things with Lee Terbosic over the years. We were on the Gateway Clipper where you changed into a YaJagOff shirt without ever changing, and you were literally right next to me.
Like
I wanted
Superman?
to throw you overboard.
About that.
Because I literally was this close to you, and I didn't see what happened. I was so mad. But anyways, you're here, and you've toured all over the world, and you're proud.
How about he's like, you're here? Like, we're making sure.
No,
you never know what a magician
No, because you don't know what he'll do.
Yeah, that's true. But you toured all over the world, but you still stay grounded in your roots of Pittsburgh. How cool is that?
I do. Yeah, that was the kind of the goal growing up too. I always wanted to be a magician that did magic and did the road and all that fun stuff. But I always wanted to come back and sleep in my own bed every night. And so that's kind of what I designed for myself. Being an entertainer since I was literally 10 years old. It's the only job I've ever had my entire life.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've never done anything else except be a magician and actor since I was 10. So
I know we asked you this before, but how did you even go to your parents and say,
you know what
I want to be when I grow up?
It's kind of strange. I saw magic right around that young age of 9. I told my parents I wanted to be a magician. They had no clue they just thought it was a phase. They had no clue
how to pat you on the head. Okay.
My mom had a great idea though. And this is how it started. She took me to the Carnegie Library in Homestead, and she let me check out magic books, because at that time, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember Book It at Pizza Hut?
Yes!
Oh my God!
Okay, the Book It at Pizza Hut thing, if that didn't happen, I would have never been a magician, because I always wanted the pizza. And so I was into this magic thing. I went to the Carnegie Library, I got magic books. So I stole those magic books, by the way, too. I never gave them back. I kept them.
God.
And it became part of my library. But in return, I would read these magic books and do magic tricks, and I would get credit, and then I would get free pizza out of it at Pizza Hut. And what's so funny and how it all became full circle is a few years later, when I was 13, I started performing at that Pizza Hut.
Stop.
And I would walk around and do magic tricks, and I was there for the next 10 years doing magic. And of course, I had done many other things around Pittsburgh during that time frame, but that's what set me up to do magic full time.
Such a cool story.
And your clothes smelled awful after working.
You know what? I loved it because I always got a free pizza at the end of the night, and that was what it was all. I was like, they paid me, but you sold me when they were like, we'll give you a free pizza at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I was
Sure.
like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
So
now we're about to pitch that you have a show coming up, but you have to leave from here to do a show.
Right.
So we have to make sure we hit all the high points.
Right.
All right, what's our newest thing?
The whole thing. Do you know about the junk drawer thing?
I do. Yeah,
right.
I got preempted on this junk drawer thing.
All right.
So I obviously in my house, in my junk drawer in my kitchen. So my house is filled with playing cards. I have thousands and thousands of decks of cards
100%.
everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're coming out of every part of my house. So when I heard about the junk drawer thing, I opened my junk drawer, and what did I see? Of course, an old pack of cards.
Okay.
I had an old pack of cards, and being the yinzer that I am, they were encased in rubber and gum bands, of course. Gum bands.
Right.
Gum bands. Now I'm going to show you just a quick trick that I started doing. In college. I started doing this trick in college. I'll explain why. I'm going to explain why. Mainly because when I was at Robert Morris University, I'm going to show these to the camera, by the way, so you all can see this. So we'll start here. So you can see it's a shuffled pack of cards. But this is a junk drawer deck of cards. These aren't in the greatest shape for shuffling and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to give these a couple shuffles while I'm talking to you. But when I was at Robert Morris University, and again, shuffle, you can all see that really well mixed up.
Yep.
So when I was in college, I had to take statistics, and so I remember on the very first day of class, the professor, he was relating statistics by using a deck of cards, and also dice. But during this time when he was using playing cards to describe statistics, this is first day of class too, he made a mistake with me, of course. He offered a challenge to the class. He claimed that it was statistically impossible to take a shuffled pack of cards that is considered in chaos. It's all mixed up. And he said it's statistically impossible to take a shuffled deck of cards and put the cards back in brand new pack order. And he said if anybody could ever prove that wrong, could prove chaos theory wrong, you would receive an A for the class and never had to take a test. Well, he didn't know that I was sitting in the audience or in class that day. And so I went up and I grabbed that old crappy deck of cards off of him that he had, and I gave him a couple shuffles, and then I put the cards back in new deck order. Ace through king, ace through king, king through
crazy.
ace, king through ace. Every card is now in numerical perfect deck order. And needless to say, I got an A for the class. He held true to the code, to his deal. But the problem was I didn't really think this one through because I then had to take Statistics 2 the next semester, and I learned nothing in Statistics 1. And so I was in bad shape going into that next
that is fantastic. And are you saying, do we get to keep?
You're going to keep this deck of cards. You can keep. You're my junk drawer. Now they're in perfect new deck order too.
If we get them out of order, we'll call you.
You call me, and I'll shuffle them back up.
And you are in.
And we'll put them back in new deck order for you. But I'll do one more for you too.
We are stoked. Yeah. Well, we want to get a little more info though for people. You have had so many sold out shows up until because this started October 25th.
Yeah.
This is going your show up until December 3rd. It is called
The Life and Death of Harry Houdini.
Of course it is.
Yeah, and I get to play Harry on stage every night. It is so much fun. I get to get in character. And, kind of just, I dreamt up this idea of a party inside Harry Houdini's living room. Because as a magician who creates magic, I created all my magic and everything I do while I'm in my living room. That's where I rehearse and where I work on stuff and new tricks. And learning about Harry and being a historian of his life, I know I've learned so much about Harry Houdini. I know more about Harry Houdini than I do about my own family. It's kind of bad. So I have all this knowledge about his life, and so what I wanted to do is I wanted to piece it together for a party. And I was able to figure out through extensive research the final night Harry Houdini was ever in his house in New York City. Now his home is an amazing mansion brownstone in New York City. It's still there. I've gotten to visit it. But the final night he was ever there was on October 9th, 1926. So just 21 days later, he would die. He would die on October 31st, 1926. So I got to dream up this cool little party to do in Harry Houdini's living room, and I get to tell this amazing little story on stage every night at Liberty Magic. And of course, I'm doing the Straitjacket Escape the same way Harry Houdini did. Very much Houdini 100-esque from November 6th, 2016 that I did the replication in Pittsburgh. Look that up, Houdini 100. And then right after but what's cool is after I did Houdini 100, I then got to tour the world shooting a TV series with the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
It's called Houdini's Last Secrets. You can find it on Amazon Prime for if you have that. You can buy it on Apple or you can find it on Discovery Plus. But in that show, when I was filming that show, my co-star was a gentleman by the name of George Hardeen. And George's claim to fame is that he's actually the nephew of Harry Houdini. So I'm literally in the Houdini family.
What?
So it's been super fun to bring this show out and perform it for Pittsburghers every night.
It's a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
You're sort of reflecting, you're performing.
There's performance, there's acting. I wrote the whole script. I created all the magic for it. And not only that, it's like a history lesson all rolled into one.
Yeah.
I kind of joke every night because when I was in 8th grade, I remember an English teacher giving me a book report. And of course I was getting a free pizza out of the deal, with the book it. But I remember doing a book report on Harry Houdini in 8th grade. And in a weird way, that book report has never ended for me. It just continues to keep going, and I keep adding new chapters to it.
What a cool life. So where does everybody get tickets to your show?
So if they want to get tickets, it is selling out pretty crazy right now. It is at trustarts.org.
Yeah.
And if you just Google that or go to the Trust website, you'll find it. It's me hanging upside down in a straitjacket.
Typical Yinzer directions. All right, used to be arcade comedy theater.
But it's
It's this really cool recreated theater specific for magic.
And that was what I wanted to do when I was creating it with the Trust in 2018 into 2019. I was a part of the arcade comedy when they started. And I got to be on their opening weekend, and I would come back when I was touring, and I would do the weekend or the anniversary shows. So when they moved on to their upgrade to down the street to their new venue, that left 811 Liberty Avenue completely open. Now, at that exact moment in time, that was right around when I did Houdini 100, I actually looked into buying that building. And then when I got into the thick of it, I realized that it wasn't going to be possible for me to acquire it. So then the next best thing happened is that the Trust saw me doing 52 Up Close up at Hotel Monica one evening, and I knew once they were sitting in my front row what they were up to. And sure enough, 811 became Liberty Magic.
So it's
cool almost like I manifested this thing.
Yeah. All right, show us another trick.
Want to do another trick?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do one more.
While you're preparing, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without...
Oh, your question of the day, him. Okay.
It wouldn't be Thanksgiving Day without...
Oh, okay. It wouldn't be Thanksgiving.
It's like a game show.
I mean, I got to go with shuffling a deck of cards and watching some football. So that's usually
say that.
That's what I'm always doing. Obviously Steelers don't get to play on Thanksgiving, so I don't really remember. But I do tune into the games. But I'm always shuffling a pack of cards.
I got you.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take out. I'll use this. I'll use this. And
I love that you talk through it, because the fact that it's for radio and podcast, like you're like, oh,
and I'll try to explain this for people listening. So
Yeah,
I just pulled out a playing card, and what I'm gonna have is I'm gonna have them both sign their names on it quickly for me.
Oh my God!
So
if you wanted my autograph,
yeah, can you
I would
sign?
have
Can
done
you
it.
sign? I just picked the Jack of Diamonds for
Yeah,
YaJagOff.
so Rachel's signing it with a Sharpie, right?
So I got the YaJagOff Jack of Diamonds.
Oh, I like
Because
what
I
you did.
actually call the Jacks in a pack of cards. I call them Jagoffs.
Oh, okay,
That's-
nice.
They're
Love.
they're my Jagoff cards.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this for you guys. I'm gonna have to come over to you though for a second. But I'm going to bend back. I'm going to do this on camera. I'm going to bend back this this part here, the
corner.
and the corner, and I'm just going to try to work it so it starts to become a little weaker. And then what I'll do is I'll start to put a little rip in the card so you can see. And now this is your signed card. This is your YaJagOff signed Jack.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be fair about this. I want you guys to pull it off. Pull it off.
All right, so I'm pulling the tip off.
Pull that
All
off.
right.
Pull off the tip. Very good. And then I'll take it. I'll take it.
So it's Jack of Diamonds
so
on
the
the
Jack,
corner?
right?
I love that Monica's on it.
And then what I'm going to do is this is going to get a little weird, but I'm going to take the Jack.
And he puts it in his mouth.
And you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Ew.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
Yeah.
No.
We'll describe it, right?
Yeah.
And you go.
We got you.
He's chewing the card
And
piece.
He's chewing it, and please don't choke.
Here we go. Watch.
Okay.
All right, you're
I'm
about
going to take the remainder part of the card.
Okay. He's putting the remaining part of the card up to his mouth, puts it in his mouth,
Puts it in his mouth.
and Crosby passes the milking. And
Stop it.
Wait a minute.
You have to go watch this. You can't just listen.
The
And you can
card's
see that I
back
just now
together.
put the corner right back onto the card. It is right back
and it's
on.
like
and it's
perfect.
still signed, and you can still see it has your
It is
signatures.
signed.
And you guys can. Well, this is the best part. You guys get to keep that. that
Oh,
I just did.
wow. In our junk drawer is not
the
only a
FBI
deck of
wants
cards,
that with your
but-
saliva.
I love Lee, that is amazing.
Isn't that weird? That was
You are
fun.
it is not weird.
That
You
is
are
the stuff I
amazing.
sit around and think
Nice.
up.
So one more time, where does everybody come see your show?
So, Liberty Magic until December 3rd with the life and death of Harry Houdini. I'll be bringing 52 up close back out for a little run next year at Hotel Monaco. And if you want to keep up with all the other shenanigans I'm working on a documentary that'll be coming out next year about Harry Houdini. And I got a couple other really cool projects in store that are Houdini 100-esque. And just follow me on Instagram or Facebook and you'll hear about it.
Always good to see you.
Always
Yeah.
a pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah.
I got to go get on
Good luck
stage
with your
right
show.
now.
Yeah,
I got to
we
be
love
on
it.
stage.
Thank you.
All right.
Lee
Thanks for
Terbosic.
having me.
Coming
and I'll
up, we
see
have
you
a
guys soon.
pair of
Thank
guests.
There's a huge trend that's happening in the world right now, and that is called curl cult. We're so thrilled to be among the first group of salons, along with Danny's Hair Loft. If you remember the perms of the past, where it was like all real curly, kinky, and all these crazy type of perms that were done, you would wrap them with straws and sticks. But the problem was that you had to try to figure out how to rinse it. A lot of times when you have coloring, highlights, thermal styling abuse, and also the environment all working with our hair, those are the three main reasons why hair becomes sensitized. We are now creating all experts with the new curl cult revolution. This is the wave of the future, as we like to say, and we're so excited to bring this to not only Pittsburgh, but really to this part of the continent, curl cult.
It's Tressa here for another Jeet Jet segment. Okay, the weather's getting colder. We need comfort food. And where better to get it? The Strip District S&D Polish Deli. Oh my gosh. Look at everything they have here. It's a deli, yes, but look at these treats and goodies. There's so much going on. And we are going to chat with Renata, the manager here, who is going to be cooking some Polish comfort foods for us, including 2 different types of halushki. And you've been working here for how long?
9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
And you've only been in Pittsburgh for
9 months.
9 months.
I came here in February 21st. That was, I think, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Then on Monday I started.
You were explaining a little bit about this before. Difference between Polish halushki and
Yes.
Pittsburgh
I
halushki.
will show you in a second.
I had no idea.
John and Rachel, YaJagOff Late Night, and we love our GJet segment. I almost said section. Make sure you go to YaJagOff.com or to our social media so that you could see the entire length of the piece that they do. And I believe it was Tressa at the Polish market. Yeah.
In the strip
So
district.
super exciting. Thanks to
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Thanks to Dryer Vent Wizard for bringing Where You At in GJet this week.
If you have an idea for a GJet, we would definitely message us because if your nanny makes a good pierogi, whatever it is, a good sauce, we want to know.
And it doesn't just have to be nunnies. We just say that.
It's just easy to say it.
Yeah, it's just easy to say a nunny. Lisa Cunningham. And do you want me to do it?
You do it.
All right. Soren De-Niz. Hello, welcome to YaJagOff Late Night. We're so happy to have you both.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. So if you are any stranger to art, then you don't know. But that's why we're having you on.
That's why you have a job, right?
Because we want to elevate the art scene. Just like, Lee is you heard Lee. I mean, is it crazy?
That was so cool.
Crazy. If you haven't seen him up close, it is... You literally think you're going to be the person who busts it. I caught you. It's not going to happen.
Doesn't it make you mad? It frustrates.
It really excites me.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
No,
See
magic
how
is
funny?
real.
Yeah, magic is real. There you go. And magic is an art. So it's the perfect segue to say that you both work at the Greater Pittsburgh Art Council. And we've recently met with Lisa because we work with a couple different art, groups within the city. And we know that you are elevating the scene in so many different ways because, let's face it, we just said this with our musician Spencer. Pittsburgh has been behind the times. Pittsburgh wasn't always as understanding as other cities about what art is. And art is so many different forms. And you are helping people to really understand that. So thank you for that.
I will say too that Pittsburgh is known as a sports town.
Yes.
But our research department does a lot of work with seeing the real impact of the arts.
Mm-hmm.
And she has recently shared with me that the amount of money that people spend on the arts in Allegheny County is actually surpasses the total all money put towards sports.
That is so good to hear. Because
so
remember,
arts
we
are
had heard
important.
that statistic that arts were second to sports.
Nope.
Like the number of
Wow.
art installations or something in Pittsburgh was second only to New York or something. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Which
is surprising, but in a
about
good way,
that,
right?
That the corporations give money to support them like crazy here, and people get to enjoy them. So, Soren, how do you get to work with Lisa here, as a matter of fact?
Well, I'm studying graphic design at CCAC, and I wanted to get an internship to kind of get into the field, get my feet on the ground kind of thing. And I applied to the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, and it's been the perfect fit. It's so much fun to see all the arts organizations that they're working with, and just be a part of that, be part of writing the blog posts for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now I'm working on a blog post that is featuring Spotlight, which is a monthly meeting of LGBTQ plus theater artists here in Pittsburgh. And so that's really cool that that's popped up, and seeing, like you said, the arts are a big thing in Pittsburgh, and seeing these communities develop is really cool.
Soren, are you originally from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So did it surprise you once you got to work in this capacity how many art things there were available? You maybe didn't know that when you were younger?
I feel like it's been growing, and I think I've always been aware of the art scene, but not as aware as being in the middle of Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, being in the middle of all the arts nonprofits. There's so much. There's so much. You can't get to all of it. There's just so much to see, so much art to experience, and it's really awesome.
That's cool.
I got to brag about Soren.
Yeah,
in
please.
addition to being an incredible communications intern, they're also a musician. They have their own podcast, and they were just announced as one of YPN WESA's artists in residence, which I'm really proud of them for.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm really happy. There's some artists in there, such as Feral Cat, Sherry CD-ROM, Lindsay Shaw, some artists I've seen around, and there's 15 of us doing this artist in residency. I'm really excited for that.
Wow, I think where's our wine?
Seriously, we need to pop the cork. Exactly.
So Lisa, as far as what you do on a daily basis, talk to people about that, because it is about opening the door so that art is accessible to everybody, either to consume or to create, right?
Yeah. Overseeing the communication department, my job is really to amplify. everything that the artists are doing in the region. That includes individual artists and arts organizations. And the Arts Council itself is in an incredible time of transition. We have a new CEO. We're announcing our new 4 pillars of service, and that includes facilitating community connections, where like an artist comes to us and says, like, as a service organization, I really need help. I'm not getting my music, like people aren't aware of my music, and we'll like figure out if we can't help them, we'll introduce them to people that can. So it's a really exciting opportunity.
Is that one way that you, since you haven't been there long, so as an outsider before, are seeing that the Greater Pittsburgh Art Council has grown? Because I think what it starts as certainly has room for evolution. I have seen it grow from years ago when art, it was just the physical sense of art, meaning like a drawing or something of that, a sculpture. Now, I love the fact that people are understanding art comes in so many forms, and I think that your organization is embracing that more. And like you started with music. I don't know that everybody categorizes music into an art form.
I would say that as the Arts Council, we're only good as the community we serve, and the community we serve is freaking amazing. And that includes all mediums. That's musicians, that's visual artists, that's fashion designers.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's a little bit of everything, and it's really incredible. We learn something new every week.
Yeah, that's a great point. Even graphic design, when you started off saying that, it is so heartwarming for me as a journalism, major. Graphic design didn't really fall anywhere. It was this, I mean, I'm much older, but it was this thing that was like, oh, where is that needed? And now it's needed in so many different sectors of life that it's great to see that it's also part of the art world.
Yeah, it's really cool to just see all these mediums of art not only coexisting but thriving together.
Yeah. What about the people who say, like myself, I will say, and I've said this to you, I'm not artistic. And Lisa will say, well, you are a wordsmith, or you can talk to people, you're a communicator. Define art in that sense for someone who is as literal as I've been to say, I'm not an artsy person.
I feel like something that I've recently been thinking about is that there's this big philosophical question of like, what makes humans human?
Sure.
What is humanity? And what I think is it's creativity. It's problem solving in every sense of the word. It's creating computer algorithms. It's creating music and art and expression. And I think art is fostering that creativity and that expression to really showcase something that you can't plainly put as an object.
Okay.
Like art is taking any idea and making it physical, making it material, making it shareable.
Yeah. What a great intern.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard to believe that you're
ready for a fluff question, Soren. How is Lisa as a boss? No, I'm just kidding. No,
this is great.
That's amazing. Right. So, is it cool that you go learn all this stuff, then you go back to your graphic design peeps at CCAC and go, you have no idea what's happening in this city, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, I feel like the graphic design program at CCAC, they've been doing some portfolio showcases and stuff like that. And that's just been starting up, but just being in the midst of the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, it's like there's so much out there. There's so many opportunities that I couldn't even imagine that I would have wanted to do. Like, even things like audio description. Lisa recently wrote a blog about how audio description equipment for things like visual arts, like dances, is something that's really needed. And so there's people who do these audio descriptions that for a dance, it's one thing to hear the dancer entered, the dancer exited, the dancer moved across the stage.
Sure.
It's another thing to hear the emotion behind the dancing. I saw a video about that was incredible. I was like, I could have never imagined that audio description describing another art form can be an art form, you know?
And that helps introduce the arts to, like, performance arts to people with low vision or who are blind.
Good point.
And the Arts Council does rent out free equipment for that to local arts organizations. So it's pretty incredible to be in that space.
Listen, we have 2 questions for you, but we know you have a question for us, so we'll turn the tables. What is your question, Lisa Cunningham?
So I've stolen this question, I'll admit, from our CEO, Patrick Fisher, but I think it's an incredible question, and I've gotten so many great answers. And I want to know from each of you, what's the last arts performance in Pittsburgh that really wowed you?
I have mine.
Go ahead.
Art All Night when it was at Iron City Brewery. That was the coolest thing because the brewery wasn't in wasn't functioning anymore, and it was just every corner was, there might be a sock posted over here, but then there'd be a fantastic painting over here. Totally cool. Yeah.
I think that exhibit alone is really great idea, like way to showcase the arts of the entire community.
Yeah.
Because you could be a trained artist and present there, but you also, like, they show the art of like little kids.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer. I mean, I
Take it
can
home,
say
John.
that it was an event. I mean, as you know, we work with Swickley Sweetwater Center for the Arts, and I would say the most recent would have been Mavuno, but not Mavuno as the festival, but the opening night. Bonita Penn, who is actually a poet, and I am a nut for poetry. She did an amazing job of explaining that poetry isn't something that has to be this rhyming, go on and on and on. And we learned that, in school and through grammar and things like that. But her rendition of explanation was amazing. So I would say that would be it.
See, I especially appreciate that answer too, because like poetry was one of my first mediums. I started a poetry reading group in college, and I miss it so much. So, yeah.
Learning new things about Lisa.
Look at that.
Look at that. That's so cool.
Now you know what to buy as a gift.
All right.
All right. So we want to know what you are bringing for our junk drawer. We have a question of the day, but where can everybody find out more information about what the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council does?
Yeah, visit us online at pittsburghartscouncil.org. I would say that's not just for artists, but it's also for arts patrons. Every week we have a weekly events blog that shows a huge amount of arts events happening over the city. We're also on social at PGH Arts Council.
Nice. All right. Well, what about the junk drawer thing?
We each have one.
Okay,
so speaking of arts events, I
love this that you're going in your pocket.
I am going in my shirt pocket.
Oh,
an
that's
art
great.
sticker.
I love this.
It showcases artsburg.org, which is the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council events website.
Love
and so all
Artsburg.
of arts
Yes.
events
We will
we try to
gladly
put in
take
there.
that. And
Thank
Lisa.
you so much.
Well, as Soren can attest, I drink coffee nonstop all day, and I found these in our office, and the only place appropriate for decaffeinated Keurig is a junk drawer. So get these out of my life.
They were the only K-cups left
Lisa,
in
that
the
was
office.
Good. That was really good. We love this. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We are so honored and proud, and they literally go into our junk drawer. So
All right,
thank
we
you.
have 40 seconds left. It isn't Thanksgiving unless...
Mashed potatoes.
Cranberry sauce. I'm a
Cranberry
big fan
saucer.
of cranberry sauce. I cannot eat the turkey without cranberry sauce.
So you mix it.
Yeah.
It's like a combined.
It goes on everything.
Wow. You're not the person who's like, draw that line.
No,
like,
cranberry
put 'em in.
sauce on
Mix
everything.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
Thank you both so much for coming. We really want you to come on quarterly so we can know more about GPAC, and thanks for what you're doing for our city.
Thanks so much.
yeah.
All right. Coming up next, our musician Spencer, and you're getting to do the Kenny Pickett segment. John Chamberlain, stay with us on YaJagOff Late Night.
I've been thinking that Rohrich Automotive needs a new jingle.
Rohrich Automotive got the best cars around Pittsburgh.
Driving a Rohrich, I bought it at Rohrich. Picked up my new car at Rohrich Automotive. I got friends at Rohrich Automotive where the staff is nice and the dealership's loaded with brand new cars. And you can drive real far.
People used to celebrate hard work, the spirit of the underdog. You don't hear too much about those things anymore. The world needs more problem solvers, people who know results matter. Folks with brains and elbow grease. Our work runs through just about every office building in the city like a network of veins. It's not what you are that makes you a steam fitter. It's who you are.
Hey, it's Sean and Rachel, and we thought we need to do our own Where Ya At YaJagOff because it's our website, and we need to pick a neighborhood that's near and dear to us. I live in Ross Township, but I basically do everything in Westview.
And Westview was a part of my growing up because every time there was a snow day, we were always at Aunt Elsie's house on Bronx Avenue to either learn how to play hockey or go tobogganing.
John Chalkowski, do not foolproof this because I'm sure we'll make some mistakes. We're not as good as you.
The first place we are is right here. In typical Pittsburgh fashion,
this is where it used to be.
It used to be the amusement park of all amusement parks. So here's what we found out. Opened in 1906, closed in 1977. My husband claims that he remembers Westview Park. He may have because he's a little bit older than me, but I was born in 76, don't remember it. But I do remember my parents referring to the dips.
And as a matter of fact, as we turn around here, behind us was where the big curve was for the dips.
A little show around Westview, because Westview was where I kind of spent some time growing up. Little did I know it become the headquarters of YaJagOff Media.
Right, but I don't live in Westview. And he'll get mad and
I'm
say
quitting.
that I'm literal, but
I'm
Westview
quitting.
boroughs Ross Township, which is where I live.
Not to be
And
uppity about that at
Monica,
all.
check your bingo card, because as a school board director in the North Hills, I appreciate all the votes from Westview. Anyway, John and Rachel, we are back for YaJagOff Late Night. We love doing Where You At. And actually, a side note to the fact that it's at Westview, Monica is actually going to meet the one and only John Shalkowski to get a tour of what Westview really is. That was just sort of our breakdown of what we know, right?
You know what I thought was funny is when we gave that video to Johnny to edit.
Yeah.
He texted, you know what? He didn't say, "Hey, good job."
No.
He didn't say, "Wow, that was really interesting." He said, "You have a dress shirt on."
Yeah. Wonder where we were that day. Wonder what we were doing. All right, so no more banter, but check it out on our YaJagOff.com or our social media. Meantime, Spencer, Alan, Patrick, it reminds me of Doogie Howser, MD. What is his name?
Neil
Patrick Harris. Yes, I couldn't think
That's
of
right.
the first name.
Yeah.
Yes, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
We're
as well.
happy to have you. So
Absolutely.
you are Pittsburgh born,
Right.
moved to Florida, and
That's
you
right.
assured me that you were like, well, I mean, I wasn't there that long. I've been back in Pittsburgh for quite some time.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that is spoken as a true Yinzer, because we are always so quick to be like, but I've been here a while,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
But my biggest reason for asking you that is because I truly believe the landscape of music has changed here in Pittsburgh. Did
Sure.
you notice that from the time that you left to your return?
Yeah, so I had an interesting trajectory. So I went to college in Clarion, and that's where I'm a drummer by trade. So I grew up playing drums since I was like in third grade.
Okay.
I studied private for a decade and did my whole thing.
Wow.
But when I went to college, I didn't want to join the band. I just wanted to play in bars, but I couldn't bring my drum set to my dorm room. So I learned how to play guitar in middle school. I wasn't a very good singer. It took me until I got to college to figure out how to sing so I could make some extra money.
So you were self-taught?
Self-taught in the guitar and vocal area. So I really cut my teeth in very interesting, very rural bars outside of Clarion. And that's where I needed to kind of hold my own and do my thing. So I didn't have a lot of exposure to the Pittsburgh music scene. I was basically playing out in some really fun, interesting places.
Yeah. Right.
A lot
Friends
of
in
pressure.
low places, 20
yes,
times.
absolutely. Yes. I got chased out of a bar with a shotgun once. That's a story for a later day.
No, it's not. We have time. Looks like we have time. Wow.
So it was my friend and I, we would alternate 45-minute sets at this bar, and we'd play for 4 hours. And at the time, I was imbibing probably more than I needed to. And Ben Folds does an acoustic version of a Dr. Dre song that I can't say on the radio.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I figured at 2 a.m. to close up shop, that would probably be the one to bring it home. It was not the one to bring it home, you know? So I strummed the last C chord, and it was dead silent in this bar. And my friend was in his Jeep smoking a cigarette, waiting for me to come out, and I came out in a hurry. I threw my guitar in the bed of his Jeep, and I dove in head first, and I was like, we have to go. And he was like, what did you do? And you hear a bang.
Whoa,
like,
stop it.
I'm like, I played a Dr. Dre song, and he was like, why did you do that?
I love that you did it, though.
And I went back. I played again a couple months
Did
later.
you play a
know.
Dr. Dre song?
I did not play a Dr. Dre song.
You opened with it.
Oh, my God. That is so funny.
So, you know, those were just fun, strange times. You know,
Yeah.
stories I told my parents 10 years later.
Yes, exactly.
So I ended up graduating with an education degree from Clarion, and that was right into the recession. So all the jobs for secondary education, social studies, just, they were gone.
Sure.
So I spoke with my advisor at the time, and he said, it's either Teach for America or AmeriCorps if you still want to pursue an education degree or a career. So I volunteered for AmeriCorps, and it took me to West Palm, Florida, and they were able to help us find housing, but not pay for housing. So as a AmeriCorps volunteer, you make about like $900 a month. So you have to supplement your income some other way. So again, I couldn't bring my drums with me. And we were out one night, just Florida's expensive to get a beer, and there was $2 PBRs at a bar. So I'm like, we should go here because I can afford this on my AmeriCorps budget. And they had an open mic night, and I casually asked the people running it if I could borrow their really nice guitar. And I was like, I promise you, I know how to play, and I just want to sing a couple songs. So I played 3 songs, and the owner of a coffee shop was sitting there, and they were like, the bar was like, we'll have you next week. And the coffee shop was like, we have an open mic. You should come out next week.
How cool is that?
Then I ended up running that open mic night in Delray Beach, Florida for 3 years, and I met the coolest people. And it really, I ended up playing 5-6 nights a week in Florida, like 2-3 hour gigs a night for about 4 years.
Wow.
And that's where I honed my skills. I got much better at singing.
Yeah.
Then when I came back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, wait, then what made you come back here? No offense. I mean,
So-
I'm glad that you're here, but I don't know that I would have left there.
So I left Florida. It's a lot like living in the movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray.
Oh, sure.
Everything's in a strip complex. If you want to go
Yeah.
to a bar,
Yeah.
you drive down Federal One and
Yeah.
you make a left, and there you are. You
Yeah.
can't remember if it was 2012 or 2013. Was it January or was it July that I did that?
Oh, wow.
The Christmas trees have the palm trees have Christmas lights on them. So I moved down without knowing anybody and no family members. So after a couple years, my friends all started to move in different areas of the country. So I decided I should probably go home.
Yeah.
So I lived out of my car for a couple months, and I toured around the East Coast, self-financed. It's not like I was playing big stages. I was playing hole-in-the-wall bars in Vermont and in Maine.
You weren't with Billy Joel or...
No.
Yeah.
So I was crashing on friends' couches
Yeah.
that I met through AmeriCorps. They all went back to their respective places.
I love that.
So I had places to crash and get really broke and, play and be on my own. So when I came back to Pittsburgh, Club Cafe had an open mic night on Monday nights, and you had to stay outside until they let you in. And you would be out there. I moved back in the winter, so we'd stay outside this long line, and that's where you meet everybody.
And no more palm trees with
No
lights
more
on
palm
them.
trees. Everyone's in their winter jackets,
Yes.
and you're just talking about, like, what kind of music? What do you listen to? What are you up to? Do you want to get a drink after this? And all of a sudden, you make this network of musicians that become family. And then they start telling you where else can you go. So Club Cafe turned into Hambones, turned into Mr. Smalls, turned into Thunderbird before it was renovated. They had open stages, they had jam sessions, Belvedere's. So there were all these places, and then those people would live in art houses in Stanton Heights and East Liberty. So then you would go out on a Friday night, there would be comedians and magicians and musicians all playing in someone's living room with 50 people just drinking $10 wine and loving it, while people are painting the walls and this amazing stuff. So when I came back, I didn't know what the scene was when I left. And when I came in, it was this really welcoming, quirky, supportive, chaotic environment. And I flourished in it and loved it. I helped stuff for Rant, where people would put on plays. We'd do scores for each other and write scripts, and it was really cool. It was a cool time to be in your mid-20s in Pittsburgh.
This is so intriguing because people come out of things like AmeriCorps and say, oh my God, that was the best time of my life.
Yeah,
I learned so many things. But then you did this living out of your car thing for a while. So
I was used to being broke.
Both of those are like cool. Like, are they equal in experience at this point?
Yeah,
Or was one more helpful than the other?
The amazing part about being in a program like AmeriCorps, so you're volunteering and you're working with populations and communities that really need assistance, but also have such beautiful culture. But then the people you're working with are from all across the country, so they have their own ideology and customs and traditions, and you're supporting each other through some difficult times while you're young and strapped for cash. You're making a difference, and you gain these really cool and beautiful relationships with one another. But then, when you are by yourself, that's very interesting. There isn't someone next to you all the time. There isn't someone down the hallway that you can talk to. It's like you and your steering wheel, At the time, I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day, so it was like me and my Camel cigarettes and my book of poetry.
This will help my singing.
Yeah. Exactly, right. So that's a lot of soul searching, really understanding who you are and maybe who you're not.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot when I was independent, and when I finally came off the road, settled in, that was my time to like grow up and realize I missed my family. I wanted to see my niece and nephew grow up. You know, I reconnected with the girl I dated in college, and we're married and have a 2-year-old. And
I was wondering if we were going to get to the 2-year-old.
Yeah. So
what a great story.
You have a great story.
It was exhausting at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But coming out on the other side of it, you know, I'm a much better person than I was when I was 23.
Wow.
So that's a great
so this is
story.
pretty awesome. Where does everybody find you online?
This is the funny part.
Oh, boy.
So first off, I don't know how you guys found me.
Tracy, she's the
Tracy
so,
was the
Jack of all trades. Yeah.
I'm really bad with self-promotion. So you can find me at SpencerAllenPatrick.net. That's ALLAN. That's my father's first name. So
Love it.
SpencerAllenPatrick.net. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under the same name, but my Instagram profile is private. I will add you if I know that you're not a bot.
Did you see him look at me?
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
So if I could tell you're a real person, I'm totally fine with you being on my Instagram page. And Facebook, I just don't post on it anymore.
Yeah, John hates
so,
Facebook, just FYI.
So SpencerAllenPatrick.net is ultimately where you can find me. You can send me emails that way. You can find clips of my music videos and find the music that's on iTunes or on SoundCloud. All of that's on my website.
Yeah.
So,
So did you bring us something for our...
I did. And my wife and I were
JD.
talking about this, the junk drawer. And she was like, bring them a tape measure. We have 100 of them.
She was trying to unload their stuff.
No, that's what I said. I was like, well, maybe we'll
Yeah.
that one that's in there. So what I recognize is my junk drawers they're not even drawers. So I have like, they used to be ashtrays, but now they hold my guitar picks. And, you know, anywhere throughout my house, I just have these little tiny things that I feel like mean a lot to me. And I am obsessed with all things Halloween. And so I have this really tiny pin for you guys. This is from an artist out of, he's currently in New York City. His name's Lance Inkwell.
Oh, wow.
He does a lot of artwork for like Cuphead. So it's this very tiny pin, and I
love it.
I have a lot of them, but he only has some. He doesn't make them.
So it's a
anymore.
little jack-o'-lantern
You know what it
with a carrot nose.
HR
and a witch.
Puffin stuff.
Yeah, with
It's
the
got leaves for
Puffin
hands and for
Yeah.
feet. It's a pumpkin riding a broomstick like a witch.
I love it.
But I was born right around Halloween, and my birthday's on November 2nd. I shared a birthday with my grandfather, who passed away about a decade ago. So my whole upbringing, every birthday was celebrated on Halloween. So we'd go trick-or-treat in Morningside, on Jancy Street. So when I'd blow out my candles, we had the masks on.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah.
I love
what
it.
a good memory.
So my whole like left leg is this giant Halloween sleeve up to my butt.
I was going to say, you went from starving artist to tattoo king. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we doing next?
Question of the day.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Thanksgiving without...
Ooh, those imitation crystal dishes that have black olives, green olives, sweet pickles, and dill pickles.
I love you. Yes.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
it.
now a charcuterie tray.
Right.
But it's
So
not
fancy.
even. Yeah, so fancy.
And they always put it out at the beginning of our Thanksgiving celebration, and everyone just eats all of that.
Who is doing
before,
this? Who in
you
your
know?
family puts this out?
So it doesn't matter where we migrate to. So if it's at like my Aunt Susie's house, it's there.
Yeah,
And somehow
Aunt Susie
it's at
makes
my
sure it gets
mom's
to.
house.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. And people
Okay.
get upset if the deviled eggs.
Well, we have to
Understood.
give time for you
Understood.
to do your song. So
Absolutely.
we're going to watch Scott Tatey do the 4-1-2 do's right
Deliver
now.
him,
Then
Scott.
you'll give us a song, right?
Sounds good.
I got lost and I was on the 5th ring where the Air Force has their security, and I walked down a hall to a young gentleman sitting at a desk, and I just wanted to ask him how I get to the other inside rings. And he stood up and he put his hand on his gun, and I said, I don't care what in the hell you're doing in there. You can tell me, I won't know what it is, but just how do I get out of here? But he just thought he was really pretty cool, and I didn't think he was going to shoot.
Mancini's Bakery, 97 years in business and still getting better. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you will see various Pittsburgh personalities like Gretchen McKay, Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes, KDKA's own Mary Hours, and WPXI's Jenna Harner, learning how to make the famous Italian twist bread. Follow Mancini Bakery on Instagram and Facebook, and remember to ask for Mancini's.
Hey, John and Rachel, I'm here at the Lincoln Park Performing Arts Charter School. Big show this weekend, Freaky Friday. We remember the movie with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. John's old enough to remember the version with Jodie Foster, but they're putting it on right here, this great school. Funny, I got to interview the 2 lead actresses, and then they do a marvelous job. So tell your folks to get out here to the Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland. Freaky Friday, it's going to be a fun time. Other things going on this weekend, of course, Pittsburgh Light Up Night on Saturday. Philip Phillips is your national headliner. Market Square will be all lit up. It's going to be a great time. And also, while you're in Pittsburgh, the ice skating rink at PBG Place is open. That's such a festive place, the beautiful tree and everything like that. So lots to do to get in the holiday spirit. See you guys out there.
Sir, one more time, where do they find you on the online? Not online.
On the old school internet, SpencerAllenPatrick.net, ALLAN.
What is the name of the song?
This is a song called Shoulder Specs.
Do it.
All right. It's a pollen breeze, the barked backs of them bending trees, the soil from your garden is covering knees. It's your shoulder specks, it's bursting breezes, the summer's breath. Keep time with all the beats we kept in our chest. It's for you, it's the sun and the moon. It's for you, the sun and the moon. And we will sit and watch the tides as they roll in and swallow everything. You'll begin to see patterns in the waves. It's all in everything, it's in our blood. All this giving and taking away. And when our flood comes, we'll leave our hearts to float in the wake. Softer rain, pounding steel of a freight train. Do the colors of your eyes shift with every day? It's for you, the sun and the moon. It's for you, the sun and the moon. We'll sit and watch the tides as they roll in and swallow everything. You'll begin to see the patterns in the waves. It's all in everything, it's in our blood. All this giving and taking away. When our flood comes, leave our hearts to float in the wake. We will sit and watch the tides as they roll in and swallow everything. You'll begin to see the patterns in the waves. It's all in everything, it's in our blood. All this giving and taking away. When our flood comes, leave our hearts to float in the wake. When this flood comes, leave our hearts to float in the wake.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Spencer, you have given us just enough time to say thank you to Rohrich Automotive and all of our guests. But in the meantime, we play this thing called You Pick It.
Okay.
So we went to Scoops Ice Cream in Bellevue, and this is Pittsburgh Pothole right here.
I used to live in Bellevue.
And this one is Cinnamon Bun. And we would like you to taste each one, and you tell us which one you like best, because we have a special way for you to designate that.
All right. Okay, let's do this. Okay.
I'll get along with you.
Oh, yeah, I'm in. I already ate half of mine.
Phenomenal. You weren't kidding.
Ooh.
Right? All right.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Go to Pittsburgh Pothole.
Yeah, and this one has a little chocolate chip. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Pothole, I mean, it has to have a chip.
Okay, so
All
first
right,
off,
you pick it.
The chocolate is absolutely amazing, but there's something about that cinnamon, that note at the
Yeah.
end. That's my pick right there.
All right, so here's how you pick it. Thanks to Wick Photography for our Kenny Pickett photograph. And you put in cinnamon from Scoops.
There we go.
There you go. And that's a sloppy end to the program. Thank you to Lee Terbosic. Make sure you go see his show. Thank you also to Lisa and Soren. And again, one more time, thank you to Roy Condo. We appreciate it. And Tracy and Monica and Johnny.
We love having these guests on YaJagOff Late Night. Please make sure you tell us some other folks you want to have on. And thanks again to Dryer Vent Wizards for bringing us our Where Ya At and G Jet. Have an amazing rest of your weekend and join us next week. See ya.